everybody. Happy spring ahead time change day. I really, this is not the best day for me when we have to turn the clocks ahead. I actually don't do too well with the time change in the spring. I feel like I lost an hour and I'll never find it. And in the fall, when we fall back to the normal time, the time we're supposed to be on, then I get it back again. So, but now they keep saying they're going to make it this be the time all the time. If they just leave it alone, I think it'd be better. I don't know about you, but I do better if it was just left alone and don't keep changing it back and forth. It's amazing how that 1 hour makes a huge difference for me. So as I've gotten older, it's gotten worse. So hopefully you're seeing me, and this was 5 o'clock, so now it's 6. So hopefully you're actually seeing me at the right time. And thank you, Lynn, for calling me last night and telling me that I needed to set my clocks ahead because I almost forgot. So because we had kind of a busy day yesterday and the night before. So I'll show you what I've been doing this weekend. I had kind of a little weekend off. I don't get that very often. Yeah, I wish they'd just leave it alone. I mean, if they just pick one, I'd rather they pick the time we just left because that's the time it's supposed to be. But if they have to pick one, just let them pick one and have it done with so we don't have to change back and forth. I've always thought it was kind of dumb. So, yep, they should just leave it alone. So we'll see what happens. So I wanted to show you what I've been doing this weekend. I actually took a weekend off. I took a class. I got to be a student this weekend. And it's so fun for me to get to take classes. And I don't get to do it very often. And I haven't for a long time. So I'm learning to make cards. And I took a card. It was called Stamp Joy. And it was a card class. And I made 14 cards between 3 hours on Friday night and then all day yesterday from like 9 to 5 yesterday. So let me turn the banner off here. And I'm going to show you what I did yesterday. So just so you know that I've had a busy weekend. I had a really fun weekend. And it's been so nice to have a little time off that just for fun for me. So, okay. So this is what I made Friday night. So here's the cards we made Friday night. And these were all done these were done with markers. We were learning to use alcohol markers, so I've never really used them much. So here's what I did. And then this one was done with colored pencils and a product called Gamsol. It's like a mineral spirit that makes the colored pencil move around. So that's done with colored pencils. And then this one was, let me take I just got a paper clip to hold it shut. This one was done with embossing. And this one was really fun. So this one has like a little insert that comes out. So it was kind of a neat card. I really like that one. So that was done. And I had never stamped with just a block before. I've always used a stamping platform. So I actually had to stamp with a block. I did okay. I got through it. And then we also did watercolors. Now watercolors and I don't see eye to eye. So this one didn't turn out as good, but it looks nice. So this was the 4 we did on Friday night. Now I didn't get done till about midnight. I had a little trouble with a couple of cards. So I had to stay up and do my homework. So I got my 4 cards done Friday. And then yesterday we made 10. Oh, it was virtual. It was virtual. I loved that. I don't know that I go to the class because I don't know that I could keep up in person with all the other people around me. It was so nice to sit here in the quiet in my own crafting room with my own stuff. And I knew exactly where everything was. I might have problems if I went. So I don't know if I'll go if they have them in person. But so then yesterday we made 10 cards. So this was the first one. I got to ink blend and we used embossing folders. So this one was pretty. And then this one was done with strips. So you glued the strips on. Isn't that neat? And then we heat embossed that one. So that was fun. And then this one was a shaker card. So we put the little, it has the little stuff inside of it. And it was a happy birthday card. And we got to ink blend on that one too. That one was fun. And we did a mass production card. So we made 4 of the same card in 4 different colors. So like it just says hello. So there was a purple one, this pretty turquoise one, this blue one, and a lavender one. So that was really fun too. Yeah, Maureen, I like taking classes at home. I concentrate better in my own space, but I do like taking classes occasionally. This one would have been a little too much for me, I think, to take together with everybody else. So, and then we did one that we colored with markers again, and this one was ink blended too. And we did this little dog laying on the moon. It was pretty. That was a fun one. And then we did one that was a little bit more geometric and masculine looking. So this one was fun. Ink blending and stuff like that. So that was fun. And then the last one we did was with watercolors. Now, Jan and the watercolors don't get along too well, but it turned out good. So this is my little watercolor card. So that was fun. So this was what I've been doing for the last couple of days. And I had a really good time. I don't get to do stuff like that very often. So I thought I'd show you what I've been working on this weekend. I can't believe I got all the cards done. And I mean, there were 14 cards. I didn't believe I'd ever get them all done. And yesterday was easier. Friday night was a little over the top for me. It was a little too rushed, but yesterday was very, I could keep up pretty well. I had to finish a couple of the cards after the class, but it was just putting them together. So anyway, so I just thought I'd let you know what I've been doing this weekend. So that's what I've been doing. Now, I want you to remember that you have to make a comment to be entered in to win the prize. Okay, so we're going to give a prize away. And this week, we're going to give away another Easter. And this is one of my settee pillows. Okay, so this is Hippity Hoppity Happy Easter Day. And this is one of my settee pillows. It's just going to be the pillow front. So it's not going to be for there's no pillow form. So the pillow form, I get them at Hobby Lobby and they're 12 by 22. So you should easily be able to find one. But this is one of my settee pillows. And there's 6 of these, but I had one extra Happy Easter for some reason. So Hippity Hoppity Happy Easter Day. So that'll be the prize. So remember to be commenting during the class so you can get entered to win that. We'll do that at the end. So I'll set that over. So tonight what we're going to do is we're going to finish up we're going to finish doing the embroidery on our April Kimberbell Cutie, and it's the one with the umbrellas. So this is the one we're going to be doing. So here's the April one with the umbrellas. I see that some of you have been working ahead. Very good for you. And you have been working ahead on it. And I really do kind of like embroidering, through the back. I love the settee pillows. I want to make some more. I still want to do just a seasonal. I'd like to have 10 because I've got 6 and I'd like to do fall, winter, spring, and summer. So one of these days I'm going to get them done. I promise. so you can have some more. I'd like to have just some, just seasons instead of, most of mine are more holiday. But if you haven't seen those settee pillows before, if you go to my website, it's sew-with-jan.square.site, and you can get those little settee pillows, and there's 6 of them. So anyway, here's what we're going to be working on tonight. We're gonna do our embroidery, put our umbrellas on, and I did a couple of them this afternoon, so we didn't have to do all of them tonight. And I'll probably do one full one, and then I'll do I'll do one full one and then I'll re-hoop the second time just to show you the hooping one more time. And then we'll finish up. So I'll finish it up later. So you don't need to see the last one. They sew out pretty quickly. So they're about, I think they were about 10 minutes to stitch it out. So, okay. But we are changing the bobbin threads so that the backs are the same color as the front. And so it takes a little bit longer because you have to change top and bottom thread. Okay. So what I did, and I'm going to tell you again, what I like to do is make a template for these. Okay, so let me change my camera down. It's a little easier for you to see what I'm looking at. And I like to change my, second here, I got to find the right one. Here we go. I like to print a template. So I printed my template here. Okay, so this is my template for tonight, the one with the little umbrella. And I use a product called Print and Stick Target paper. So this is the dime version of this Target paper, which is like repositionable. Okay, so these are you lay it in your printer. Like my printer, I lay it, this is the shiny side that I pull off. I lay it upside down and then prints in my printer on the rough side. So the rough side is the side you're going to be printing on. Okay, so whichever way it works in your printer. And Floriani also has it, and it's called Template Tearaway. So this is repositionable, and so I can use this over and over again. So once I print one, I keep them, and I can put them back on the paper, and then I can use them over and over again. Okay, so that's what I'm using tonight for my template. If you don't have either one of these template papers, you can use just paper and some tape, and it works fine. I have a little more trouble with it moving around on me. So make sure I use like the Kimberbell tape and tape it down, and it works fine, but this works better because it's just a little bit more stable. Okay. All right. So we are going to talk about our template here. Now, when I print my template out, let me bring the design up on the machine so you can see what I'm talking about here. So let me get the embroidery up, and this one's the umbrella. Find the umbrella here. Where did it go? Here it is. Okay, so here's the umbrella. Now, when I print this out on my printer, I just open it up in my software. And if you don't have software, go to inspiredbydime.com and download the free Dime software, because then you can print templates. Okay, you don't have to own any software. You don't have to pay for it. You can go ahead and you can buy, you don't have to buy the software. You can just get free software and you can print these templates out. Okay, it works really great. And then there's other things you can do with it as well. Lots of editing and things. So when I print this out, I don't know if you can see it very well over here. Let me hit embroidery. You might be able to see it a little bit better. So the first step is like that placement line. And remember, we've talked about this placement line in the last couple of months. So when I print this out and it goes like this, there's a placement line here and here on the template. And what I do is I measure 1/4 of an inch above that line towards the design. Because remember, when we put this together, we've already got the seam allowance taken out of this corner here. Okay, so I need to take the 1/4 of an inch off the template, because the 1/4 of an inch would have been placed on the raw edge. So we've already got that sewn into our table topper. Okay, so I took that where it printed, I just took my little ruler and I cut it off 1/4 of an inch towards my umbrella. Okay, on each side. So now when we go to put this in, we can just put it in the corner of the table topper. So then give me a second here. I'm going to put the bottom part of I'm laying the bottom part of my 6x10. I'm using a 6x10 hoop, dime hoop tonight. I love these magnetic hoops for this, because then I can just lay it, I can just quilt it, or do the embroidery with no stabilizer. Okay. So I'm going to take my little template And look at the screen here. So we know he's kind of tipped this way, right? So then we know we're getting, so I marked on mine where the placement lines were. I just put little arrows there. So it says place on seam. I just marked mine so I remind myself. So I'm going to lay this down on my corner here, and I'm just going to line up the edge with my corner. And we've done this before, so this probably looks pretty familiar. Now, if you do not have a snowman, you have, when you cut out or you print out your template, you have your lines that you can take your plastic grid and lay it down on the lines and get it lined up. It's very easy to do. Okay, so don't be worried if you don't have a snowman, but I know a lot of you do that are watching, because that snowman's been in the machine for a long time. Okay, so we're going to use the snowman. So I have my snowman stuck on the middle of my template already, and this is up, and this is the orientation. So if you look here and you look over here, then you know that they're oriented the same way. Okay, so I'm going to go back over here. I am going to put the top on my hoop first. So let's put the top on. So I'm going to kind of get this, let me get the camera turned a little bit. I'm going to kind of orient this roughly in the middle. Okay. Now I have already placed in, I know that this design starts with, you get your little book, your instructions, the design. So the first design, the placement guide, we're not going to sew out, but the second piece is the umbrella placement line. So the top of the umbrella. So I looked at that, and I put my corresponding bobbin thread into my machine already. So I'm going to use pink this time. So this umbrella is going to be pink. So I've got my pink in. And what I do when I use my magnetic hoops, I kind of get it close to the center here. And then I take my top of my hoop. I've already got the bottom one hooked in. I take the top and I just slip it under there, and I slap it down. Watch your fingers. They hurt. Okay. And I get it as close as I can to the center. And then I'm going to check my corners to make sure all of my edges are nice and straight. Now this is a 6x10. The 6x10 works really well for this. It's just a perfect size. Most of these have fit in a 6x10. I think maybe one or two of them fit in a 5x7, but most of them fit in the 6x10. Okay. All right. So I've got my little umbrella, and I've got it pretty close to the center. You can see where my needle is, and it's pretty close there. And now we're going to use our snowman. So we've done this before. We're going to hit the layout button. I'm on the embroidery screen already, just like I was ready to start embroidering, but we're going to hit layout. And then on the older machines, it still says edit, just so you know. And then I'm going to hit the little snowman dude, and I'm going to say, it says okay to revert. Yep, that's fine. And then down here at the bottom, it says scan. So I'm just going to let it scan. I'm going to hit okay. And it's going to scan and find the snowman. And again, if you don't have a snowman, just use your the plastic grid and your hoop and line it up with those lines that are on your template, because the same principle works, but this just does it automatically. Okay, so now it says remove the embroidery positioning mark. Okay, so I'm just going to take this whole thing off. Just going to take this whole thing off. Whoops, if I can get a hold of it here. And somewhere is my paper that I can put it on. Hopefully I'll put it on the right side this time. Okay. And I've got my pink in for my first step. Now, we do not need to sew out that placement line. So I'm going to hit layout again, because this line here we don't need. Remember, we used our template, so we don't need that. So I'm going to go down to the plus minus spool here, or the plus minus needle, and I'm going to go down to the second color. So we're going to start with the second color, which is going to be my pink for my placement line for my little umbrella here. So we're going to sew that out. Oh, and I'm even going to show you how to, I'm going to show you again how to use the bow maker too. You know, they work out pretty well this way, Maureen. I wasn't sure. I had to do a couple of them to see, because I was a little worried about them puckering, but there's not that many stitches in any of these. So they seem to work pretty well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take my pink umbrella fabric here, and I'm going to lay it up, and I cut my umbrella pieces 6 by 3.5, just big enough to cover everything. So I'm just going to make sure I got it all covered here. Okay, like that. And then the next step is going to be our tack down for our umbrella. So I'm going to leave the pink in there. Putting all my little bits and pieces here. Now don't forget to watch, if you need help with the binding video, I'll link it in the video too. For those of you on YouTube, I'll link the binding video for this also if you need help binding. So I always have that, and it is on YouTube under the playlist of Kimberbell Cutie. So now we're going to trim this close to the stitches. So on last week on Shields Live, we talked about the endpoint stop, positioning markers, and we're going to endpoint sewing, I think is what they call it. And I'm going to continue with that this week because somebody asked me about quilting, or I'm sorry, putting binding on with the sticker, with the endpoint sticker for the luminaire. So I'm going to actually bind this table topper on Shields Live. So we're going to do that with the sticker so you can see. Now I did talk to, yeah, the only way, okay, so Maureen, I have, that's why we're doing that one last, the snowman. I have another design that I'm making for you to do. Okay, so we're going to use my design for that. And then you can put the snowman up in the corner. I'll show it to you at the end of the class, okay? That's why I didn't do the January one first, because I had to make a design first, because the original snowman was down in the seam and we couldn't do it this way. And I wanted to do it this way. So I will be making a design for you, okay? And everybody will get it at the end. But we're going to do that one in December, okay? All right, so I got this trimmed. Now I'm going to pull this out because the next step is actually going to be the handle, not the handle, but like the long piece of the handle. And I'm going to do that in silver. So I'm going to grab my silver bobbin thread here and put that in. And then we're going to change the top thread to silver also. So this is like the post of the umbrella. Yep, almost got my hoop. I don't push it back quite far enough. I had the same thing, Maureen, when I was trying to decide how I was going to do these, because January's was the only one that was different. The other 11 were all the same, but the January one had the design in the corner. So I had to improvise. So I have that. I'm working on that for you. So, all right. So we're going to do the little handle, post handle for the umbrella, and then I think it goes back and does the satin stitching on the. I think it goes back and does the satin stitching on the umbrella then. So we have to probably go, yep, we have to go back to our pink then. So I'm going to pull this out carefully. And if you're using these magnetic hoops, just be careful that you don't slide the top. when you're pulling it out. We're going to put our pink bobbin thread back in. Now, when I'm using these bobbins, since I wound them, remember, I am using my standard bobbin case for my machine. This is the one that has kind of like the green paint on the screw. If I'm using a pre-wound, I'm going to use this one that has the blue dot in the middle. Okay, so I am using ones I'm winding. So I'm using my standard bobbin case in my Luminaire. Okay, find my pink again here. I'm just about out of pink. This pink, hopefully it'll make it around the umbrella tonight. Otherwise, I'll have to run and get another spool of pink. I think I bought one, but I haven't needed it yet. Okay. So we'll get this going, and then I will show you the design for the January one, because I don't know, Maureen, you must not have seen it. I've shown it to people, but it's been a while, so let me go get it. I have a lot of bobbins. Whoever asked that, I have a lot of bobbins. Okay, so this is going to take a minute, so I'll show you this design. So let me tip this camera up. So here's the design that I'm coming up with. I don't like the hat yet, so I have to fix the hat yet, but this is what I did for the January one. I brought the design up out of the corner and made him have a body. So he will... Oh, the quilting designs. Yeah, this one, I don't have a list. I've been trying to tell everybody. Who was it that asked that? Cindy. This one I use Spring 1. It's the one that has the little umbrella on it. So it's called Spring 1. Okay. So that's the one I used for this. But yeah, isn't he cute? So I haven't showed this for, I don't like the hat yet. So I sewed it out once because I needed to see how it worked, and it worked, but I need to go back and do the hat. So this is the one, everybody will get a design. It's not going to be exactly this one. I have to work on the hat yet. But then you'll get this to put on your January one, okay? So I'm still working on it. But I didn't like the fact that it was down in the corner because you couldn't quilt it this way. And he was kind of scary. I just thought that, I mean, I love the snowman, but he looked kind of mean or something. I don't know. So I thought I tried to make my snowman cuter. Okay. So anyway, but I don't like the hat yet. I need to do a little more work on the hat, and I'll work on that for you. Okay. But I figured we could do that one at the end and do it in December for January for next year. And then we will start with February again in January if we want to do the new ones. Okay. So a lot of people have been asking me, yeah, I thought the snowman looked a little scary. So he looks a little mean or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just the angle of his head or something. I don't know. So I decided we were going to punt a little bit. The one in the book looks like he's melting. So, but some people have asked me about the new ones. And if everybody wants to continue on, we may go ahead and do the new set next year. But I haven't had a chance to try it. I do have them, but I think what I'm going to plan on doing if I do those, the reason I didn't do them this year is I wasn't sure that I would have the book for the second half in time for me to get them ready for you. So that's what bothers me with doing things the first year. Sometimes the books don't come out fast enough, and I don't have enough time to get them prepared for the class. So anyway, the new ones are really cute, but I'm thinking about those. I like my table toppers to be quilted through the back because I think they're softer that way. because the new ones are all done in the hoop, and then they have you quilt them in the hoop too, and then just sew them together and stitch in the ditch on the back. So I'm not sure that I'm gonna like that. So I may do them more like this. So we can still do the blocks, because the blocks that are in the center are all done in the hoop instead of pieced like these are. And we can still do that, but we can piece them in the hoop and then sew them together, and then we could quilt the whole thing again, and then it would be quilted through, and then do the embroidery. So oh, can you do the table topper? Which one? You mean the table, the new ones? The new ones, you mean? Is that Cindy? I think it was Cindy that asked that. Because I like them quilted through, and I also think they're softer than they are when you do them in the hoop. They're a lot stiffer when they're done in the hoop. Now for a table topper, it would be fine, or a wall hanging, but I don't like my quilts so stiff. Ooh, I'm playing bobbin, I'm playing thread chicken up here, so I think I'm gonna make it though. Can you see my pink thread up here? That's all I got left. You think I'm gonna make it? It's getting close. We'll see. I think I might make it, because I got just another little curly cue to do, so we'll see if we can make it. It's gonna be close, guys. I've been using this pink thread for a long time, and then this blue one, I'll show you when I get to the blue, the problem with this blue one. And that one I need to get another blue also. I don't think I have one. I'll have to go look in my drawer and see if there's an extra one in there. Woo! I'm gonna make it. Woohoo! It's gonna make it. Okay, it made it. Yep. Don't have much left though. There's not, see how much there is up there? That's probably just gonna go in the garbage, because by the time I get started, it'll cause a problem. So now we've done the pink, and now we need to change our bobbin thread again. So I'm going to use, this next one is going to be the raindrops. So I'm going to put my light blue in. So here's my light blue. I'm going to put that in the bobbin. Yep, and we have the handle. The handle's last, actually. And then I'm going to put light blue in the top also. Now, this particular, the only problem I've ever had with the brother thread is sometimes these little things that hold the thread at the bottom, like, stop working, like they won't close anymore. So if you have one like this, if you stand it upright in the machine, it's going to catch in this slot and it's going to break your needle. So what I do when they get like this, I just wanted to show you, because this is one of those that I just can't close it anymore. I can lay it down, and the only time I lay these down is when I've got a problem with one of the bottoms. Okay, so I lay it down with the little end towards the needle. And technically this is backwards because it's supposed to come off the underneath of the spool instead of the top, but this is the only way these work. And then I do not put a cap on. So if you're laying these down, don't put a cap on, because the first thing that happens is the thread wraps around the spool pin underneath the cap and you don't see it and you break a needle. Okay, so just put it on like this. So this is the way I've been using this blue spool of thread, because it's been doing this, I always think I'm going to be all done with it, and then yes, the color stickers don't stay on the spools very well. So just a second, I'll show you we'll get this started and I'll show you what I do for these. That is the problem. So you notice that none of mine have any stickers. So that's the only thing I don't like about it. Besides, every now and then I'll just get one that the bottoms are like that. But you get a spool of any color thread or any brand of thread, that could be a problem. But what I do is I take the stickers off the bottom. Okay, and I have them stuck in my drawers where I keep them. I have like thread boxes that have drawers in them, And I have the sticker for the yellow stuck down on the little spool pin. And then what I do is I take my tiny little Sharpie marker and I write the color number and the name on every single one. So when I get a new spool of thread, I just write number 205 yellow on the top. And then I always have the colors. Okay, so that's the way I take care of that problem. I just take the stickers off and then I put the color on the top. And I've done that ever since I've had these for years and years. They've always come off. I don't know why, but they always have. All right, so we're going to be playing thread chicken with blue, but there's only one problem. I don't have any more, so I hope that I can get through all of my little raindrops here. Oh, can I show how I store my thread? Sure, just a second. If you give me a second while this is sewing, I'll run over and get a box so you can see. Yeah, we'll get this one started and then I'll show you. Yeah, the ones that don't close, but Lisa, is it Lisa that said that? Yeah. Lisa, just do what I do. With the ones that don't close on the bottom, I just lay them down like this with the little end to the left. And then I use them that way and they're fine, but no cap. Don't put a cap on and they will lay down fine. I find it frustrating too, but every now and then I'll just have a few of those. Okay. So now we need to do the handle and then I'll show you my thread chest. Just a second here. All right. So I'm going to take this bobbin out and now this is the handle and I did my handles in black. So I'm going to use black in the bobbin. Change to black on the top. Whoops. Helps if you take the other thread out first though, Jan. I take the blue thread out. But I really love the brother thread. I've been using it for 20 years. And it just and the spools, the original spools did not have a little hook on them to, you know, like close them so that they wouldn't unravel. So I always had to put tape or something around them or, you know, to do that. But now these new ones, I really like them, but just every now and then I'll have, you know, a spool that will be broken. You know, I'll get one that's, it'll break on me or it just won't close anymore. And it doesn't happen that often. Okay. So now we're going to do the black handle. All right. So Cindy asked, how do I do my threads? So I'm going to tip this camera this way. Okay. And this is one of my thread chests. So these are actually Floriani thread chests. And each chest has 2 drawers and there's 15 spools in each one. So each chest holds 30 spools of thread. Okay. And so what I do is I have them in by color chart number. And can you see in here, here's the threads. Okay. And then I took the sticker off the bottom and wrote it on the top. See, here's all the tops. And I put the sticker down here around the spool pin so that I always know where the colors are. Okay, so each one of these has the sticker off the bottom. I just pulled it off because they come off so dang easy. And then I have the colors there, see? So that works out really well. And I have about 20 drawers. It's about 20 drawers. Now I can't say, where did you get the boxes? They are from Floriani. And we can get them at the store. They're a little on the pricey side, so I just bought a few at a time so that I could get the whole set in there. And I really like them because I have a cat that likes to eat thread, so I have to have all my thread in something plastic. So these have always worked really well for my threads. And I used to have Floriani in them until I started using just Brother. So I put my Brother threads in these instead. Okay. And I have a thread chest that I use for my Madeira thread also. And I don't know if you might be able to see it if I turn the camera around here just a second. Okay. So here's if I turn this way, I don't know if you can see it. Can you see the white thread chest underneath the orange box? That's my Madeira thread chest. So all of my Madeira threads are in there by color chart order in those 7 drawers. So I have to keep everything completely covered up. I'd highly recommend you keep your threads in something instead of on the wall out in the dirt and the dust, because thread does have a shelf life, and the more you keep it in the dirt and dust, the less the shelf life, or the shelf life will be. Okay, so keep them clean. So I've always kept mine in some sort of plastic boxes where they don't get dusty and dirty. Okay, but no, the thread boxes are Floriani thread boxes. They work fine for the brother threads, and you can use them for the Floriani, of course, too. And we can get them. I just don't always have them in the store. So, all right. So there's our first umbrella. So what do you think? So then what I'll do is I'll take this out. And then what I like to do when I'm done embroidering them, I'm just going to take this and get this out of my way. Make sure I don't knock anything off. I like to turn it over, and as I'm going, I like to trim all the little tails off the back. You know, if I get tails where it tied off, I just trim the little tails. Don't trim through the knots, just trim the little tails, and that way it's easier and faster to get the back beautiful. Okay, so I think it looks fine doing it this way, don't you? With the colors on the back, I think it looks fine. I wasn't sure when I first did it. I thought, hey, that looks just fine, because you can see the pretty colors, and then just take the time to do the trimming, you know, trim it out so it looks nice on the back. And like I said, I usually do each one as I go. This one had a few more because of all the little raindrops. Some of them only had just a couple little places to trim. There's a little trim down here, you know, where the stick and the here. Okay. Oops, I missed one of my raindrops here. Okay, so there's the pink one. I think that looks nice. I like polka dots, so I even got a string up here. Okay, get that one. Okay, so there's the first one. So I'm going to show you how to do this, the hooping again. So just so you're comfortable doing the hooping, and I got to find my template. Okay, so here's the template. Got all these little hairs. And again, make sure that you're looking at the orientation of your template compared to what's on the screen here. Okay. So when we put it on, we're going to put it on like this. And this is going to be yellow. This is a yellow umbrella. So we're going to put this in the corner. I've already trimmed off, you know, that little 1/4 inch that I needed to trim off. And I'm going to lay this in the corner. Oops, I'm kind of crooked here on this one. See if we can get it. And yeah, so Cindy, I used, let's see, on the first February cutie, she asked me which quilting designs I used. The first cutie, the February one, I just used the swirls in the clear blue tiles box. And then for the March one, I used the kites. So I bought that one from Kimberbell. So that one's just one of their ones that you can buy, but you can use anything. Don't worry about it. Now this one was called Spring 1, and this is the one that has the little umbrellas. So I thought it was cute because it had umbrellas on it. Okay. So I did that one. Hi, Clara. So I used that one for this one. And then the May one, I don't remember what I used for May. It might have just been I like the swirls in the I'm going to put this bottom part back in before we hoop this again. And then let's see, this is yellow. So I'm going to put my yellow bobbin in because it's going to start out with the applique. So let me get my yellow bobbin. And I think the May one I did in the swirls too. I like that pattern. Just it's good for ones that and I could have used a flower one, you know, whatever one you want to use. It's definitely not set in stone. You can quilt them any way you want. A lot of people are quilting them on their long arm or just doing free motion. Some people are doing other things in their machine. So whatever you want to do.
I just like the clear blue tiles, so that's how I did the video with clear blue tiles. Okay, so let's do it this again. I'm going to get this roughly centered. Okay, and then we're going to slide the top of the hoop in again after we got our little template on there. I always have to be careful not to get my fingers with these because they're really strong. I pinched my fingers in them multiple times and they hurt. Okay. All right. So it's roughly centered. I mean, you know, it's not perfect, but it's close. So how much are the clear blue tiles? The clear blue tiles, there's 2 sets. So depending on what size hoop you have. So is that Jan? So Jan, you could do either one. So the standard set of clear blue tiles is for machines up to an 8x12 hoop. Okay. And then there's an expansion pack for the people with the 9.5x14s. So the essential set is $149.99, and the expansion pack is $49.99. But you get tons of designs with the first one. That's why it's more, because it's got a lot of stuff with it besides the tiles. But I do like it. And then I'm using, this one was with the expansion pack because I used a 9.5x14 hoop. So, okay. All right. So we got this roughly in the center here. We're going to go back over to our snowman. So let me hit OK over here. Got to go back to layout. Like, again, some of you may say edit here. If you have a Dream Machine or Destiny, it says edit. And I'm going to hit the little snowman guy, but it's in the same place on the same screen. OK, and scan. And OK one more time. And then it's going to scan, and it's going to find our little snowman on our template. Yeah, I resisted the clear blue tiles for a long time, and I thought, oh, I don't need those. I don't need those. But you know, I really do like them, and the designs are not connected, so it saves me a ton of time when I go to quilt stuff. I don't have to try, you know, I don't have to try to get the starting and stopping points lined up perfectly. And sometimes then if I was doing like a contrasty thread, then I'd see that I was just a hair off on the connection. And these look seamless. Yes, the tiles are very easy to learn. And the video for the quilting on this is also on YouTube under the Kimberbell Cutie playlist. And I found them very easy to use. And that's why I like the edge to edge quilting where you join them, but these look like they're joined, but they're not. And so then you don't see that little, I was always having trouble, especially if I had light colored thread and dark colored fabric. I had to be really careful that I got them perfectly lined up, because you would really notice that if it was like 1/8 of an inch off or something. So that's why I do like the clear blue tiles. As I've started using them, I've found that they really look nice, and I don't have that look to some of my stuff. Okay, so that's my little. It took me a long time. Okay, so it said to take the sticker off. Okay, took me a long time to like them. I didn't buy them for, it was over a year. They'd been out for over a year before I bought them. And I started using them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these are just so cool. And there's so many designs. I mean, and they were really nice because I had bought a lot of the quilting designs, and originally they're quilting designs. So if you don't know this, just so you know, if you've had quilting designs for a long time, some of the quilting designs originally came out were just block by block. And they added, for the ones that you had already purchased, they added the clear blue tile files. So the difference between the files is that so I'm going to go ahead and skip again the outline. We don't need the placement line because we know where we are. I'm going to do, this is going to be for the umbrella. But the clear blue tile files, the ones that are, there's some that are block by block, and those have the batting lines in. They have the batting lines in them, and then they have a clear blue tile file that's basically the same file without the batting lines. So they're not that different, but they don't have batting lines in them. So what they did, which was nice, is for those of us who had bought all these designs, they added the clear blue tile files if there was one. There are a few that are only block by block, and some of them are borders, but they added the clear blue tiles files to our account, so then you could re-download them and get the clear blue tile files. So if you haven't done that, you may have some that you only have like the block by blocks if you've been having them, buying them for a long time like I have. So make sure you do that so you have all the files available. Okay. And that was very kind of them to give those to us. I mean, you know, those of us who had those older, that had bought the older files, that was really nice that they did that. So then we have all of them. I do still use edge to edge occasionally, but I use mostly the clear blue tiles because most of the stuff I do is small. If I'm doing something bigger, sometimes I'll use the edge to edge, but I kind of like these. So I'm kind of getting used to them, and I love the designs. There's so many designs. I use the edge to edge quilting designs a lot, like the Amelie Scott. I use those, but I use them in my long arm. Actually, I like them in my long arm because when I'm doing bigger things. And I've been using the Kimberbell ones for the small stuff. So I use them both. Okay, so we're going to lay our little yellow piece over the placement line. And I still have my yellow bobbin thread in the bobbin there. Okay. Those are all very good questions. So the clear blue tiles you can get on shieldsewingcenter.com, our website. If you are interested in them, I have some in stock and I can ship them out to you. I do too. I like the border designs, and the border designs also appear seamless, but they're not. I mean, they appear connected, but they're not. And so it makes it a lot easier so you don't have that start-stop point that you can have a little issue with. Because I'm pretty good at lining things up, but I still have some that are just a little off. And you'll see that there's, especially if it's a dark, like a dark colored fabric and a light colored thread, or vice versa. I still have, I'll still see that I have not got them connected. So I use them, I use both. I use both of them. But I'm really getting so that I like these real well. And they have so many designs. They keep coming out with so many cute designs, and they sew out really well. So the Amelie Scott ones do too. I've always had good luck with those. But I started out with that. But then when these came out, I wasn't super hip on marking my quilt, is what took me a while to get used to the fact that it was marking my quilt. And so then once I got over that and I found a way that I could mark it sparingly, then I was okay. Okay, so then I wanted, the next piece is going to be the handle again, the silver handle. So I'm going to put silver back in my bobbin here. This one goes fast, so we can do 2 of these tonight. So we can ask questions. You guys are asking wonderful questions tonight. And Barb, yes, Barb asked if they were easy to learn, and I think they are. What? Oh, making your quilt. That's the hardest part, is getting the quilt done. Oh, marking the quilt. Yes. But I don't mark that much. Now, some people, what they're doing is taking like embroidery tape and like the Kimberbell tape, and they're just putting that down underneath the tile and marking on the tape because they don't want to mark on their quilt. But I did find the okay, so I got my silver and my silver on the top, but I did find those new marking pens that seem to come out very well. So yeah, you do have to be careful with the matching and with the edge to edge because there's a start and stop point. But I do better with these because, you know, if you're a little off, it's less, it doesn't show as much. And these look like they're seamless, but they're not. You know, they start and stop. So I think it was an ingenious idea. Whoever thought of it, that was cool. Yeah, pick fabric. Oh, fabric, yes. Fabric can be tricky, can it? And I've been doing a lot of, with these, I'm trying to use fabric I have. I haven't bought very much fabric. So, all right. So now we're going to go back to our umbrella, which is yellow. So I'm going to put my yellow back in the bobbin. It doesn't hurt to show everybody this so that you don't forget to, change your bobbins. All right, so we're going to do the yellow. Yes, so the heat away marking pens the pens that come with the Kimberbell clear blue tiles, do not use them. They do not come out. They're those blue ones. And even if you wash your quilt, which I do wash my stuff lots of times because I like that kind of antique crinkly look, they don't come out, those blue pens. So I do not recommend those. But I found the heat away. Let me show you the heat away pens I use. So a lot of people use Frixion pens. And yes, so that's the main complaint that I've seen with the Kimberbell marking pens. And I actually just threw all of mine away. I don't even have them anymore. They were those blue water solubles, and I really struggle with those because it's very, very hard. So what happens is like the pen goes down into the batting, and it gets down in the batting, and every time you moisten it, it pulls up to the fabric, and it just drives me crazy. Okay, so these are Frixion pens. Okay, a lot of people use these. They work. However, I have a couple of colors that if I use this blue, it's kind of navy blue. I don't know if you can see it very well. It's kind of a blue pen. On some fabrics, if I use this blue pen and I hit it with an iron, my line turns brown. Okay, so that's why these are made for paper. Just so you know, these were not made for fabric. So I use them on certain things, but they're okay. So, but just be aware that these were made for paper. They weren't made for fabric. Now I have a new set of pens that we carry on the website, and so far I've had pretty good luck with these. They don't turn brown, and they don't, like some of the darker colors fabrics, you'll put it on and it turns white. They give you a white line when you hit it with the iron. So I've been using these, and I don't have the package. They're called Nifty Notions Heat Away pens, and so far these are fabric pens. So far, I've been having pretty good luck with these. Okay, so this is what I've been using, and they're up on the Shield Sewing Center website. Okay, I don't even like to use the other ones that work are the chalk pens, and I use those Sewline ones. Sewline has this chalk pen that has 3 different colors of chalk in it, and I don't think I have one here to show you. I have my white one, but these work okay. But but again, I have a little trouble sometimes getting it off. Okay. Yes, if the quilt gets icy cold, then it will come back. So yes, so then you have to re-iron it. But I haven't had much trouble with these pens. What I've had trouble with the Frixion, I know that they'll come back and I can iron it again. But what I have problems with is it turning things brown or white. And these don't seem to do that. They'll still come back if it gets cold, but they don't turn things brown and white. So that to me is a plus. So I've been using these. So yes, the store, our website is called shieldsewingcenter.com, and these are called Nifty Notions Heat Away pens. All right, so these are up there, and you get all 5 colors. There's white, red, blue, black, and green. Okay. So far, I've been using these, and they seem pretty good. My favorite one's the blue one. So that's what I've been using. The ones that come with them, I just throw them away. The ones that come with the tiles, I just throw them away. So, but pens are hard. I mean, I'm not completely satisfied with heat away pens, but I have more problems getting off the water soluble ones. Even the purple ones are air, more of an air dissolvable one, and those normally come off pretty well. I don't think I even have one that I can get. Here we go. This color, these purple ones. This is the blue one. I never use this, but I happen to have a double-ended one, and this one has the purple. And this comes off okay. It's more of a air dissolvable. It says air and water soluble. So these come off, especially if it's humid. So the problem is these sometimes come off so quickly, I can't get it quilted before they're gone. So that's the purple ones don't really work all that great. So I've been using like the chalk ones, the heat away pens, and then I like the chalk one that, oh cool, so the Tide pen helps get the glue off. I've never used those because I'm allergic to Tide, so that's why I don't use those. So that's a good tip. So, but the chalk pens that Soline makes, and there was another one I have here that I haven't tried yet. They have this new one called Aqua Eraser that I haven't tried yet. I bought a couple of new ones. This one is the air erasable one, but I don't know how quickly it will come off. And then this is the Soline Styla. This is the one that the little eraser thing goes with. So I have to try these and see if they work too. So I like to try different pens, but they have a triple pencil that has blue, pink, and white chalk in it, and these come off fairly well because you can take like a little, I usually just take like another piece of fabric and just rub against it, and that comes off pretty well too. So that's my little tip on pens. Sometimes it's hard when you do that kind of stuff. So, okay. Oh my gosh, I think I'm even going to make it through the yellow. I was almost out of yellow too. You can't iron over it. Oh, okay. You can't iron over it because you can't get it out. I have not. I normally take out the chalk as soon as I'm done with the quilting. So I don't normally iron over things, but that's a good tip, Jan. But those blue ones, I've always struggled with those blue ones because people use those and it's like, wow. Okay, so we're going to get our blue on here for the little raindrops. I wonder if I can get through my blue here without running out of thread. Yeah, the Soline ones, the triple, I've got those on the website too. It's like that triple chalk pen and you get blue, I think it's blue, pink, and white, I think is what the three colors are in it. And that seems to work pretty well because then I have a color that works with most fabrics. So that one, and it does seem to come out pretty well. All right, so I got my blue in the bobbin here. We're going to do the raindrops. This is the raindrops. So hopefully I'm going to have enough blue for my raindrops. You think I can make it? This is the one I have to have up here because I can't stand it up anymore. It'll catch in that little crevice. Hopefully I have enough. I was hoping to be able to get rid of this tonight. I've got a little catch here. Just a second. Can you see the little catch right there? Let me see if I can smooth it out a little bit. Sometimes it catches on there. I've been wanting to get rid of this spool because it's been a nuisance. Yeah, though marking pens are a hard thing because you do need to use marking pens. I mean, and I've always had trouble with the Frixion pens, so I don't use those. I do a little. I have a couple of them. I have like a blue and maybe a pink one. So I do use a few. That's a good question, Barb. She asks, is there a fine line chalk pen that comes out with heat? I don't know. I'll look into that and see, because sometimes the chalk, I would think that would come out better, but I don't know if there's a heat away one or not. That's a good question. Soline makes a lot of really cool pens and pencils, and so I wonder if they've come out with something like that. I use a lot of their product, so I'll look into that. But these nifty notions, you know, heat away pens do work pretty well. I've had pretty good luck with them. Yes, they if I tried it, I took my something out in the cold and it did come back a little bit. And I just hit it with the iron and it came out again. So that I'm not as worried about as the leaving marks thing. I did find out that if I get a mark left with the Frixion, if I take a damp sponge that's really clean and wet it first and then hit it with the iron, it seems like it takes it out. So I don't know if any of you have tried that with those when you get marks on your either white or brown. So that's another option. So, ooh, I think I'm going to make it, guys. There's not much on there, but I think I'll make it. I think this is the last raindrop. I like to talk about stuff like that people have, you know, because not everybody uses everybody, you know, the same things as everybody else. So if you've used something that, you know, you think would work, let me know, because then I'll try it out and we'll talk about it. So anyway, I wanted to tell everybody, and we're going to change to the black now to do the handle here. I wanted to tell everybody on Shields Live on Thursday at 2:00 on the Shields Sewing Center Facebook page. We're going to do the binding on this with the sticker, because I talked to Judy about it and how she does it. And so we're going to do it, actually bind this little table topper with the sticker on the luminaire, the end point sticker. Whoops, I got to get my blue thread out of here. So we'll do that on Thursday, so you can actually see me do it. And I talked to her because I wasn't sure if you'd want to put it right on the table topper quilt or if you want to put it on the binding. And she does put it on the binding. So we'll do that on Thursday. And I'm just going to bind this. I'm just going to wait and bind this because I know what she told me what to do and I know how to run it. I think I'm just going to wait and do this. We'll just wing it on Thursday. How about that? Your endpoint stickers, Shannon, you have a luminaire or a Solaris, right? You have a Solaris? Is that what you have, Shannon? I think that's what you told me. They look like this. And do you have a Solaris 2? Or did you get a 3? They're going to be in with, there's usually a little baggie that has minimal manual in it, and then a bunch of other stuff, and they're going to be in there. So you should get a couple of pages of them, because they as far as I know, the baby lock ones are in the same area as the brother ones are, because they don't do manuals anymore, which is annoying. Luminaire 2 with upgrade. Okay, yeah, they should be in, like, there's like a baggie that has, and who said they have a Stellaire? So Margie, the Stellaire doesn't have that feature because you don't have the built-in camera. It's just the Luminaires and the Solarises that have that feature. So what we're going to do on Thursday, you won't be able to do with your Stellaire. But the snowman works with your Stellaire. You just have to use the little app and take a picture. So I have done that on Shields Live before, done some quilting with it, and so it works really well. Yep, it should be in the baggie. There's like a baggie that had like sort of a little bit of manual stuff, and then there's some other stickers in there too. There's some snowman stickers, and those should all be in that kind of baggie. So, but that's where mine were anyway. I got mine with an upgrade. So mine actually came with an upgrade, but I put them in with the baggie. So mine came with my second upgrade because I've got a Luminaire 1. Mine's an XP1. So, all right. So you go back and look for those. All right. So now let's make some ribbons. So we have to do some ribbons on here. Now it's all quilted. Look at there. Or it's all embroidered. So let's take this one out. And we'll trim all the little things on the back. And then I'm going to show you how to use the bow maker again, because we have to have some bows. Got to have a few bow maker lessons. They're kind of cool. Those are also on my website, the sew-along-with-jan.square.site, and that's where the bow makers are. And they are pretty awesome. If you have trouble tying bows, that is the way to go. I learned to make bows with the bow maker with my doll making ladies. So that's where that bow maker came from, was all my doll making friends. Okay, so there we go. We got all 4 of them done. Look at there. Now we need some bows. Yeah, don't you like that? I got that. I know I got that at Walmart. It was in a fat quarter bundle at Walmart. I love the lemons. So, all right. So we need a bow maker. So let me get my bow maker. So we're gonna make a couple bows here. All right. So here's my bow maker, and it comes with the ones that I have 3 different sets of pegs. And my friend Orlin and Kathy Brunson make these for me. So they have these little pegs, and then they have a medium and a big peg. Mine just have I have an older one, and mine just has 2 sets of pegs. And it said in the instructions that you're supposed to cut 9-inch pieces of ribbon. So I've got 4 pieces of ribbon here. And I think I might need another, let's see. See how wide my ribbons are. Not sure if I did them with 2 holes or with 3. I think maybe just 2. Yeah, I need to go in a hole. So we're going to put just 1 hole in between there. Okay, so this is a bow maker, and a bow maker is just a piece of wood with some holes in it, and put your dowels in here. But it's pretty awesome because it helps you tie bows. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this around my dowels, and I'm going to make one of the tails really short. Now I'm left-handed, so I might do this backwards to you so you can kind of see what I'm doing. You might need to do it the other way. I'm going to take the longer tail and push it underneath, and I'm trying to keep it straight, and I'm going to pull it up over the top because I want the front to have that beautiful flat knot. Okay. And then I'm going to just keep going. So this one I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to tuck it under, and there is a little instruction sheet that comes with them, just so you know. And then I'm going to tie this in a knot like that. Okay. And then you can kind of fluff them. You can go around more than one time. Get it quite tight enough. Second here. There we go. But then your bows look really nice. They're all even and tight, and okay. And I think Claire's here tonight. My friend Paul made this one for me. The one that I'm using. I have an older one that my friend Paul made for me for Christmas one year. I think that's the size I use. So there's one of my bows. And then I trim my ends, to where I want them. And yeah, so this is on my personal website, the sew-along-with-jan.square.site. I think it's $20. And oops, not doing very well with my ends tonight. And I'm going to hot glue these on, just so you know. I may wait and put them on after I do the binding, though. Sometimes I bonk things too much if I do it. So I think I'll just tie the bows and show you a couple more bows here. So here's one bow. So there's a pink one. Okay. And I know, isn't that cute? It is so easy. This makes it really easy. So, and then like if you want to do really big bows, I mean, you can do really big bows. And then if you wrap the ribbon around multiple times, and you can have bows with like 3 pieces on it, and you can do all kinds of stuff. But I just wanted simple bows here. So here's another pink one. Now this one, as you can see, is single-sided ribbon. So when I do single-sided ribbon, this one was double-sided. So when I do single-sided ribbon, I have to I want to make sure that the pretty side is where I can see it. So I'm tucking it under here and pulling it back through. Okay. And then I have to, when I tie this one, I have to kind of turn over one of the tails so that they both go the same direction. So I'm kind of turning one of the tails over on this one so that they both go to the pretty front side. Okay, so there's that one, because I just kind of turned one of the tails over a little bit so that they were going the same way. So practice that. What I tell people when you first get one of these, buy two-sided ribbon, ribbon that's the same on both sides, because then it makes it easier. Okay, so here's the little bow for that one. This one isn't as good. I may have to do this one again. Sometimes when I have to turn over one of the ends, it makes it funky on one side. Let's try this one again. And this is kind of stiff too. This ribbon's a little stiffer too. We'll do this one again. Sometimes when I have to turn the tail over, it makes it funky. Okay, so then get this. So like this, I want my pretty side to the, this is the front. Okay, so you're actually working from the back of the bow, and you want the pretty tail, the tails to both go the same way. So you have to kind of get them so that they both go the same way. But if you're having trouble, get two-sided ribbon and practice with the two-sided ribbon. It's easier. I think that'll look better. There we go. What do you think? There we go. That one looks better. Get a little tighter. There. You see my bow got a little cockeyed, so there we go. So there's my little bow. So I'll trim this one. I didn't have enough ribbon to do them all the same this time, so we're going to have 4 different bows. 4 different ribbons on the bows this time. Okay, so there's that one. Okay. And let's see, this was another one of those single-sided ones, so we'll do this one. Figured you'd like to see this a few times so you can kind of see how it works. I know people that do this like with their fingers, and they tie them between their fingers and they're going like this. I can't do that. This is so much easier. It's like having another hand, Okay, so this is another one of those that's single-sided. So these are a little harder to do. So make sure that all the right sides are heading the right direction. All right, so I want it this way and this way. So I got it turned over so that they're going to come together. Okay. There we go. This needs to be a little tighter. Sometimes they go one way and sometimes they go the other way better. So it's just, isn't it a clever little tool? I know. I could never tie bows. And so when I made dolls, when I make dolls, I often need bows for the hair. And we want those to like be stand-up bows that stand up. And actually this one, I'm not sure how the tails want to go on this one. These are a little stiffer ribbons, so they're harder to work with. And the other thing that works really well with these is wire ribbon. So if you want a big bow, get a wire ribbon and work with that, because then that wire ribbon is very forgiving. There we go. That looks better. So wired ribbon is very forgiving and it stands up nice. Okay. And practice first with like the ribbon that is two-sided. If it's the same on both sides, it's just easier. Okay. So there's another one. So the front of your bow is the yes. So the front of the bow is back here. Yes, facing the machine. So you're working from the back. Okay. So I'm gonna, this is two-sided, so this one will be easier. Okay. So I've got a shorter side over here, and I'm going to take the longer side and flip it up and over. And you want to make sure that the front is nice and flat so that it doesn't turn over. And then I'm going to tuck this under. Keep the side, keep tucking under, and then I'm going to tie a knot. If I can get a hold of it. There we go. These are not very long ribbons, so sometimes it's hard when they're short. Like that. So see, this was two-sided, so this one's a little easier to do. Okay. And there's a little pink bow. So look at there. I got all my little bows made. This one looks a little funky. I may have to tie this one again. Sometimes I have to tie them a couple times, but Oh, there it goes. Is it better? Okay. And then I'll just snip these off. There we go. So I got my 4 little bows done from the tops of my umbrellas. So there we go. Had pink, a couple of pink, and a red, and kind of a hot pink. So 4 different ribbons this time. I didn't have enough to do all of them in the same. So yes, so when you hold this, you're working from the back, and then this is the front. Okay. And then I like wrapping it around like several times and then getting all these little ribbons. I'll do that sometime. I did a video on the bow maker that I did some like ones with that I wrapped it around 2 or 3 times and tied the bows, and then you get these big stand-up bows. That's the ones I put on the dolls' heads. So all right. So I think we're ready for are we ready for a prize? We have to give our prize away. Let me get my other camera up going here. All right, so are you ready to give a prize? Get a prize?
Okay, so I got my bows. Put the bow maker over here. Got my little bows here. So I'm going to hot glue. I'll just hot glue those on, but I'll probably wait till after I put the binding on, okay? All right, so the prize tonight. So remember, comment to get entered. This is the prize for tonight. Is one of my settee pillows for Easter, okay? And you'll just need to get yourself a pillow form. The pillow form is 12 by, I set it down and my cat laid on it. Sorry, there's a little hair on it now. You will need it's 12 by 22 is the pillow size. And I got them at Hobby Lobby. So they're like a little small bench pillow, okay? All right. So let me see. I got to find my tablet. Got to see who's going to win tonight. Now, if you're from away from here, if you're local, you can pick it up at one of the stores, okay? And if you're away from here, you need to personal message me on Facebook your address, and I'll mail it to you, okay? All right, so I'm just going back and forth. All these comments, I'm just going to go back and forth. I'm going to put my finger down on one of them, okay? Somebody's name. I didn't know any other better way to do this, so, okay. Okay, I didn't look. And it is Clara Pelfrey. Clara, my friend Clara from Ohio, won the little tabletop, or the little bench, or the settee pillow cover. So Clara, this is for you. I have your address so I can mail it to you. So Clara Pelfrey got this tonight. So that's awesome. Are you still here, Clara? She doesn't usually say very much, so I bet she's here, though. Let me see if she came back on. Thank you. Oh, yep, she's still here. So, Clara, I'll mail this to you. I've got your address. So, okay. So, next week, we're going to be making... Oh, I'll show you what we're going to make next week. Next week, we're going to do some scan and cut. So, let me go grab it. It's right here. I've done this quite a few times, but I haven't done it for a while. So I love these little boxes, okay? And everybody loves the little toolboxes. So this is a scan and cut toolbox. So to put all your scan and cut stuff in, and I put my name on the top, and then I put tools on this side and scan and cut on this side. And I get these little boxes at the dollar store. So if you want to make one of these boxes next week, what we're going to do is we're going to cut adhesive vinyl and learn how to put it on. Okay, so this is what we're going to make next week. We're going to make a toolbox for our scan and cut. And then the following week will be software. I have it started. I know what it is. The last week in March will be software in PEP, and we're going to make a pennant banner, and it's going to be a spring pennant banner. So what size is the box? I like the one. Oh, this one is, I don't know how big it is. Let me see. I got a tape measure in here somewhere. I thought I did anyway. Here it is. These are the ones that they have the little things on the ends, but I got these at the dollar store. They usually have all kinds of different colors. I just happen to have red ones. And these are about 9 inches long and about 6 inches wide. So these are about 9 by 6. Okay. So yeah, so go to the dollar store and see if you can find one of these little boxes if you want to make a toolbox. And you don't have to use it for your scan and cut. You can use it for something else. But we're going to do a logo that says scan and cut on it. So yeah, so these are really fun to do. So all right, so that, and then yeah, so the banner, I'm going to be sewing it this week, and I'll get it listed so you can see it. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's something different. I just wanted to do something different. So that'll be the last week in March, and then we'll go back and do another cutie. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Have a good evening. Yes, Dollar Tree. Somebody asked, was that Dollar Tree? Yes, that was at the Dollar Tree. That's where I got the box. See you, everybody. Bye.